Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, guys, this is from pajiba.com. I've read similar articles, but I want to touch on this again. Scientology has a child sexual abuse problem. Here we go. How about that, LAPD? Hemet Police, Clearwater PD, Department of Homeland Security, FBI. Apparently, Scientology has a child sex abuse problem. What are you guys going to do about it? By Mike Redmond, dated September 23rd, 2019. When you have a religion that goes to great lengths to protect its wealth and power, there's going to be sexual assault being quietly swept under the rug. As we've seen with the Catholic Church, Protestants, evangelicals, let's not forget the JWs. Children of God cult, anyone? Probably shouldn't go around pointing fingers at their papal competitors. Because in a refreshing bit of good news for these absolutely god-awful times, the younger members of those congregations are showing an increasing penchant for reporting sexual abuse. Yeah, and guess what? Statute of limitations is not up. But predators' time is up. We don't talk about those kind of things. Isn't going to fly anymore. Sure isn't. The norms of polite society, or some might say, when America was great, are thankfully crumbling and all kinds of horrible is falling out. It's darkness versus light, light versus darkness. Which brings us to the latest lawsuit filed against David Miscavige and the Church of Scientology, which alleges the church punished the victim of child sexual abuse. They punish all the child sex abuse victims, all of them. And the women that are over 18 years old. And in some cases, men and boys. For having the nerve to speak out against higher ranking members, like prestigious executives. Prestigious executives? Where have we seen that before? Prestigious executives? As instructed by very explicit rules laid forth by founder L. Ron Hubbard, allegedly, who clearly had a keen sense of what was going to go down in his new religion. Yeah, remember what LRH said? The best way to make money is to create your own religion. And one of the articles I was reading previously, you guys can go back and look or watch. I forget who it was discussing it, but creating the religion, changing Scientology, and weirdly enough, I thought about this too. Someone had brought it up. Scientology is categorized differently in all these different countries. What does that tell you? But again, categorizing it as a religion got Scientology out of fraud charges. If they were a business and they were frauding all these people, they could be charged with fraud. I mean, I don't think it's a blanket, like a blanket shield, but it was one. founder L. Ron Hubbard, who clearly had a keen sense of what was going to go down in his new religion. Imagine if one of the 10 commandments was no cops. LAPD, how about that? Isn't that interesting? And you're in the ballpark of how effed up this is going to get. But what did that one LAPD cop say? It's good money. The Tampa Bay Times CW link contains description of child S assault. So if this triggers you, or if you're a young person, you shouldn't be watching these anyways, if you're a child. Because children are children. Hubbard's policies rolled out following the formation of the Church of Scientology in 1953. Teach it is a high crime to report a Scientologist to law enforcement. LAPD, how about that? Took me 5 minutes to find an article showing how the Scientologists don't report crimes to police officers. How about that? Phones within certain church facilities are incapable of dialing 911. I'm pretty sure that's a crime, isn't it? Can somebody look that up? I'm sure when you prohibit people from calling 911, that's 100% a crime. I can guarantee that. Guarantee that. According to the lawsuit. Yeah, that's been going on for what? As long as Scientology has been in existence here in America and other countries, they've been doing that since the beginning of time. I wonder what Chief Slaughter would know about that. At age 11, Doe was sent by Scientology to live in Caracas, Venezuela, without her parents. Without her parents. Isn't that a similar story to Miriam Francis? What other children were sent away from there? Valerie Haney. Jenna Miscavige, she talks about that in her book. Beyond Belief, very good book. Go get it, please. What is the deal? Sending children away from their parents? Now, I know the parents should be responsible. I understand that. But what I'm trying to show here, a pattern. Isn't that a pattern of criminal activity? Separating children from their parents? Inquiring minds want to know. The next year, she was assaulted by the son. By the son! Names. I want names. Who is the son of a high-ranking Scientologist? That's why we need some of these pictures of these executives. And there's plenty of them on the internet. So you could cross-reference. It's a reasonable deduction. At the Caracas org. Well, that'd be pretty easy. I imagine Caracas org was fairly small, right? He's up in there R-ing 11-year-old girl. Could that be because ignoramus, convicted felon, con artist, failed military loser, potbelly, black tooth, drug addict, believes kissing a 7-year-old girl on the mouth is permissible? L. Ron Hubbard? Could that be because maybe perhaps he was a pedophile himself, that it's okay to kiss a 7-year-old girl on the lips? He's the one who came up with children are adults in small bodies? Could that be why all these children are getting AR'd? And especially the authorities aren't doing anything? Government officials are not doing anything? A church facility, according to the complaint. Doe immediately disclosed the assault to her auditor. To her auditor. a person who conducts the spiritual counseling sessions, instead of reporting the assault to law enforcement, the lawsuit alleges church officials sentenced Doe to 3 months of physical labor. Yeah, they put her in the RPF. And issued her a non-interbulation order. Just exactly what the JWs do. Which warned she was at risk of losing standing in the church for bringing in the sexual assault. How about that, LAPD, Hemet PD, Clearwater PD, Homeland Security, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Immigration and Naturalization Services, where they send these children out to different countries and isolate them, surround them with predators, otherwise known as pedophiles. One who suffers sexual abuse, whether an adult or a child, is assumed to have done something to incite or invite such abuse, as the lawsuit describes Scientology practices. What did Amy Scobie say when she was art I believe she was 16. I think it was 15 or 16 years old. They told her she committed mutiny because she was art. Somebody needs to be sharpening knives over there. So a couple of things. First off, Jesus Christ. Second, remember when Josh Dugar molested? No, he ard. All this like word with the molest and this word trickery, there's a whole big difference. Molestation, it's not that it's not harmful, but R-ing means penetration, facts, and a story, which is very painful for a little girl or a little boy. What do you think happened to the poltergeist girl? Just go look it up. According to the religious teachings, so Josh Dugar ard his sisters while they were sleeping. According to the religious teachings that his family strictly adheres to, sure they do, that was also the girl's fault for making him think impure thoughts. I need sound effects. I got an idea for sound effects. So if you're having doubts about your current religion of choice, maybe ask around to see where they stand on who's to blame for R-A-P-E. And if it's not the actual R-A-P-I-S-T, goddamn run. Yeah, but the sad part about this is the children can't run. They don't allow them to run. They lock them up in auditor rooms. And they won't let them leave. On top of that whole mess, the victim has reportedly been the target of the church's infamous intimidation tactics. According to the complaint filed in Miami-Dade Circuit Court on Wednesday, Scientology operatives cut the brake lines on the woman's car. Have they been charged yet? Inquiring MF minds want to know, have the Scientologists that cut her brake lines been charged? Have they been charged? Vandalized her property, followed and surveilled her, and harassed her with hundreds of spam calls. Come to the country and see what happens. It's not real men. Those are, anyone that would intimidate a woman like this, that's not a real man, I can assure you. And I know gay men that are more alpha than this. It's a natural order, man. If all of that sounds familiar, why yes, it is the same exact thing that the church is doing to the women, accusing Danny Masterson of RAPE. Except now we know that the church is doing it because Elron had a very strict no snitching policy. Wonder what Rinder knows about that. Which is smart when your entire religion is built on charging people exorbitant amounts of money to learn that alien ghosts cause depression. You really don't want to get out, well, ever, so it's totally boss that Leah Remini does things like telling Joe Rogan that Xenu is bullshit. From a previous Tampa Bay Times report. It's amazing what you can find on Google, right? It's amazing. As soon as 4 women filed reports with Los Angeles police, and why aren't they being held culpable? Why? Failure to investigate a crime? In 2016 and 2017, alleging they were RAPED by actor Danny Masterson, the Church of Scientology unleashed a campaign of terror. You know, that's also a code word, right? To intimidate the accusers. No, let's call them victims. Victims, not accusers, because it happened. And protect its celebrity parishioner. According to a joint lawsuit filed this week in Los Angeles Superior Court. When are the LAPD going to be held accountable for not doing a thorough investigation? A lot of these Jane Does reported a long time ago. If you guys are following anything in the Diddy thing, you'll see. They be R-ing up in Hollywood. That's their thing. They love that. That gets them off. And a lot of it is a cult ritual. The women repeatedly found strangers around their homes. Why don't you send them to my home? I want you. Please come and send some strangers to my home. I want you to. Please. Please. Sometimes peering inside with flashlights. You imagine what a pussy you have to be to do that? Pussy, pussy, pussy. Their email accounts were hacked. It's about all they know how to do. And credit cards stolen. One woman's dog mysteriously died. Kill my pet and you're going to see. All I have to do is light a candle. And the autopsy showed trauma to its trachea. Yeah, when does she get justice for her dog that they killed? They were chased in cars. These are not real men, you guys. You see all that freaking... I'm going to say some foul words. I'm sorry, you guys. You see all that pussy stuff that Sean Diddy does? This is the same kind of men doing this stuff. Killing women's dogs. Telling me they don't like to get off without permission. They were chased in cars. One was run off the road. You know what? That lady just needs some good driving lessons. You get good at it, you can run them off the road. If you're protecting yourself, in America, you have the right to protect yourself. They were followed into grocery stores and nail salons. All have woken up to find their car doors and trunks wide open. You imagine the mentality of someone doing that. Like just a straight up 100% dickless pussy. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm using some foul language today. But that's the only way I can describe a man that does that kind of stuff. I don't always talk like this. But you know, once in a while, foul words are necessary. While it's awful that these women are essentially being gamergated by the Church of Tom Cruise, their bravery has to be commended. With each new lawsuit, we're learning more and more how Scientology operates. And unsurprisingly, it's a goddamn hotbed of covering up sexual assault. Yeah, they be R-ing up in Scientology. They be getting, oh, it gets them off, just like some of those LAPD officers that are guilty of the R word. Oh, they gotta just take it. You know, all 3 inches. It's almost like it was built for it, which is generally what happens whenever there's a power structure created by and for men. Misogyny. Misogyny. I've been wanting to create some AI songs, but I can't figure out how to do it. I got some really good ideas. They're going to use sacred texts. Well, there are no sacred texts in Scientology. Or alien soup can meters to get their blanks touched. D-I-C-K. I like this author. It's a tale as old as time. Yeah, and like, how weak and insecure are you that you have to force a woman, right? You can't get it the old-fashioned way. You're not masculine enough. You're not alpha enough. You're not long enough. Okay, guys, I'm really on a roll. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.